Y'all don't know how long I've been sitting on this word and how long I've been waiting for this to get out. Stay tuned with me. When I tell y'all God has been constantly giving me the signs, he's been constantly giving me the confirmation weeks after week after week. I'm telling y'all, he's been giving me this confirmation like crazy. And actually, just to show y'all that I'm not crazy, I've actually screenshot the confirmations just to show y'all proof. Now y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to check this out. As y'all can see these PayPal transactions. This is my home screen on my phone. Pay attention to the number 3. You see up here, it says you paid $3. Then it says right here, $3.33. Another available balance is $31.33. You have the 3 right here and how many notifications I had on TikTok. Now y'all, I didn't really notice until I peeped it until last minute. But y'all, check this out. The available balance is $6.33. If a lot of y'all didn't catch on to that right now, think about the Bible verse, Matthew 6:33. Where it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, then these things be added unto you. Meaning that if you seek God's will first, if you seek God's kingdom and be about God's business and seek first the business of him, then everything that you desire in your heart, everything that you ask for that aligns with God's will for your life, it will be fulfilled. As I was getting these confirmations of so many 3s, I was going through a very, very tough battle in my life. I was going through a lot of hiccups. I was going through a lot of teeter-totter. But even through the midst of all that, God was still speaking to me, even so on. And as I kept paying attention to the signs, I kept seeing that everywhere I go, everywhere I look, I would see the numbers 333, as you guys could see through the PayPal. Here's even more evidence. I went back home to Chicago, was on vacation, and when I was in the parking lot of Walmart, I looked up and seen that the gas said it was $33.33. 333. I was on my phone home screen, looked down and saw that it said 333 again, and this was on. It was actually on Christmas. As y'all can see, 333 again on my home screen. And this is the next following day on December 26th. I was doing Bible study, and I usually, be on this one website, to look up the different translations in the Bible. It basically said they had a sale on something, and it said $3.33 a month. Not a coincidence. I believe I had many other encounters, but I don't know if I screenshot them or not. But those were the encounters that in the signs and confirmations which God sent that I peeped. So after seeing all this, especially when I saw the PayPal one, I started to look it up, and I'm like, okay, what does 333 mean? What is the significance of this? So whenever God sends me numbers, and I always look up the Hebrew Strong's Concordance or the Greek Strong Concordance. I don't ever look up the angel number stuff because that's not from God. But I always look up what is the Hebrew meaning of this? What is the Greek meaning of this? And as I did my research for the Hebrew meaning, I looked up this word 333 in the Hebrew, and is the word altar, which derives from the Hebrew root altar, which means to crown or to encircle. It also stems from the Bible verse Ezra 2:16, in which I looked up, which was a time in when the people from Jerusalem who were held in Babylonian captivity by King Nebuchadnezzar, that they all were returning from captivity, and they were all being set free. If you go to the origin word, which is the number 332, it means to crown, to encircle, to surround, or to close up. And the definition of it is so remarkable. It says in ancient Israel, crowning was a significant act, often associated with kingship, honor, and divine favor. Crowns were symbols of authority and victory, and the act of crowning was a ceremony event that marked the investiture or whatever of a king or the recognition of someone's achievements. The concept of being surrounded or encircled also carried connotations of protection and blessing, reflecting the communal and covenantal aspects of Israelite society. And what a lot of people don't realize is that this was a very, very crucial part in my walk with God. I wasn't really talking to God as much. I stopped reading my word. I really stopped praying like that. I just wasn't as in tune with God as I was supposed to. But God was yet still speaking to me. God was still yet giving me words of closure. He was still giving me words to let me know that he was still there with me. A lot of people don't realize that this word, altar, the Greek word for it is Stephanos, which is Stephen. It means a crown, a mark, or royal or exalted rank. So my name is actual Stephen, Stephen, and that means crown in Greek, which is why I said, okay, this is crazy, this is significant. I know that God has not shown me this for no reason. But even that word stems from the Bible verse, Psalm 69, verse 15, in which is a verse where David was pleading to God to not allow the floods of destruction and chaos to overtake him and drown him into a pit of despair. I actually just looked this up, and this is why this is significant, because it was David pleading to God that through all this that he would not lose his identity in God. I'm pretty sure David was going through a troubling time in life where maybe he fell short. Maybe he went on the wayside in the mission and the purpose God had for him. And he felt like because he did that, and because he felt like he was far apart from God, he felt like he lost his identity. He felt like he lost his spot and his place where God had assigned him, which was all just a lie from the enemy. And this is crazy and significant though, but God just spoke to me. I want to say today through Cash App. And his number on Cash App popped up and it was 1858. So when stuff like that happens, I have to go look it up in the Hebrew. And it stems from the word dar, which means pearl. What I just saw and looked up is that pearls were often looked at in the Eastern ancient cultures as a status of wealth, as a status of great significance. And it was looked at as something very precious, something of status, something of worth that was high esteemed. Hold on, stay with me. In biblical times, they were known to be accessible, but yet still very rare and hard to find, and of great value. But it also stems from this original word of it, which is daror, which is 1865. And the definition of that is liberty, freedom, release, and it also means to move rapidly. And the word dior, it actually stems from the biblical times, in the time of the year of Jubilee, in which was a time in every 50th year where people throughout the land that went to go work for wages to help out their families, they were to be released. Not in the term slavery as we know it today, but in a time where people gave themselves over to work jobs, like I said, to make means for their families. But as I'm continuing to do my research, I see that the word dior also is a reminder of how God delivered his people from the land of Egypt in slavery. That it is his desire that they shall live in freedom and liberty, and that we are able to live in that freedom and liberty through Jesus Christ. That sin no longer has us bound, but we are set free, and we have victory, and we have freedom because of the one who paid for it and because of the one who died for it. And I want you to hear this right now as I'm processing this whole revelation right now. Sister, pick back up your crown. Brother, pick back up your crown. God is trying to tell you that you are not defined, nor are you labeled and identified by what you felt to. But you are a son of a king. You are the daughter of a king. There is nothing in this world that could be able to separate you from the love of God and where God has placed you. When you came into unity in faith with Jesus Christ, you were adopted through Jesus Christ by the Father to become a fellow son and a fellow daughter of him. That sin no longer has a hold of you, but that you could sit in the rightful place, in the rightful position, and where God needs you to be. Sin's power has no hold over you, but it is sin's job to be able to make your crown tilt, to make you let go of the position where God needs you to be, for you to delay where God needs you to be, for you to let go of, and for you to forfeit where God needs you to be, and who God has called you to be in him. There's a new profound freedom God has given many of us. And a lot of times, what the enemy wants to do is make us feel like that we're not worthy of that position. He wants to make us feel like that we're not worthy of who God's called us to be. But no more. You have to recognize who you are. You have to take power and authority in who you are. That hope which is in Jesus, God wants you to grasp onto that, and he wants you to walk in the fullness of it. Stop allowing the enemy to toss you to and fro on who you are, but remind yourself of who God has said you are. Remind yourself of who God's called you to be. There are so many of us that continuously be in position, then go out of position, be in position, go out of position, because we have not learned the value of how valuable we really are, how valuable we are to be in other people's spaces, how valuable and rare we are to God and allowing who we allow in, the decisions we make, the things that we allow in. You are a rare gem. You are something very rare and something that shouldn't be easily accessible to anything or anybody. You are a son and a daughter of a king, and you are royalty. Don't ever let anything, anybody, or the enemy make you think otherwise. Walk in freedom and do all God has called you to do as he's giving you the grace and the freedom to do it. Get back in position and stop wasting time. God has shown you who you are, and he's shown you what you're capable of. Now it's about time that you start walking, talking, and acting like it. I know this is a lot to process in, but it's just a reminder. I love you, and so does God. God bless.